Hey there, sticky boy.
If we the outcast children live, the town will grow to be a town of men. Capella will entrust us with it. We're the future of this land.
Wow, that's a weird quote. This will be a town of men. Capella will entrust us to it. What is he going? I don't know. What would you do without what would we do without your help? That means you'll be just like your father by the time we grow up. What were you planning to do with your life? I will be the axis for the wheel to spin around. A future ruler with a new sign. I trust Capella. A new sign? What do you mean? The Kano-Gimsky-Saburov triangle is over. There are no more termites, utopians, or humbles. The three powers are gone, almost without a trace now. They're nothing but memories now. We need new forces and new signs. The old rulers are gone except for you. Will you protect our little town until we come of age? What do you stand for? I don't know yet. We didn't have enough time to talk, but I will become a builder to direct Khan and Notkin's ardor. That's what Capella has seen. I wonder which of the two mistresses is supposed to be paired with me. Grace or Murky? Oh my sides, they're both very nice, but also not much to look at. Jeez, Sticky. Aren't you all like 12? Are you sure they're alive? Are you sure they're alive? Why would you hold Khan and Notkin back? We'll make a new triangle, duh. This tug-of-war will never end, whether we want it to or not. And I have a hunch that they'll grow to become commanders and conquerors like Block and Shoin. But I'm already thinking as to what I counter to those two war dogs with. I was thinking about that, how that might be the new... It is like a three-way struggle, isn't it? Because Khan leads the dog heads, Notkin leads the soul and a halves, and Sticky is just kind of this third party, this outsider that has some kind of power and connections, but also feels separate from everything. On that level, it's a little harder to compare them. It's a little hard to compare them to the existing triangle, but I would compare Khan to the Bachelor, and Notkin to the Haruspex, and Sticky to the Changeling, probably. What about the other factions? There's an interesting little inversion with the political powers, because I'd probably compare the Canes to the Changeling with their miracle working, and Saburov to the Bachelor with the appeals to authority, and solving things through organizations and might, and then Haruspex and the Canes is kind of what's left, honestly. Good.
What?
I've already become what my father was. Oh, shit. I'm gonna try to do my list making. I'm running around town, and because I don't have the letters yet to talk to Bachelor and Changeling yet, so I don't really, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to get to all my people, but on the way I'm trying to visit townsfolk to see which ones have executors outside their houses. Katerina does, for starters. Hey there.
My path was called Mother of the Bulls. If Kin's been left alive, I'd rule it in my dad's place.
I'm alive, and it's you who made it so. Thank you, thank you. Does that mean you'll be helping me from now on? Who told you that? Capella did. You'll become the foreman and the most important person in the kin now. Everyone will follow your words like they did with Dad. And I'll always be at your side so that you know that we're all together and the kin loves you. That's what she promised me. Why are you so happy? You were the only one they listened to before. What do you think happens now? I'll step aside a bit, but I'll help you and connect you with everybody. I won't bother the new mistresses even though I really want to. It's all Capella's design, even though I don't really get it. Is it she who told you all this? Yes. She also said there'll be 4 nodes inside of 3 from now on. Instead of 3, for now on. The 4th one is me. standing aside a bit. Well, I mean, there always must have been 4 nodes, but no one's noticed that before. I think things will be better now than they used to be. I hope so. Alright, made a few other stops. This is the last one of my characters to visit. The architects are both fine, but one of the architects had me wondering about something that makes me really curious about this game in general. In addition to other stuff, is just, I'm thinking about the bound. I'm trying to figure out the rules here. And I'm finding interesting exceptions to things. We already talked about stuff like isn't the foreman dead and stuff like that. I visited the foreman. He's not there, so I think he is dead. Let's see, Alexander's fine, but Katerina's sick. I visited both of the architects. They're both fine. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, is I visited the architects. One of them works in / lives in that bar, right? So I was thinking, like, what happens if he gets sick? On some level, I might have an answer for that, because Grief is currently sick. And it's really fucking weird. There's an executor outside of Grief's HQ, and he's like, you'll have to give him a medicine if you want to come in here. And then you go inside, and all those other NPCs are all there. The stabby dudes are all there. The one naked lady's there. All next to Grief, who's apparently in quarantine. Like, there's like several other people there. So maybe I was thinking, like, isn't it weird how the one of the bachelor's assistants can't get sick? But maybe he can. Maybe the architect that's in that bar can get sick, and they just weirdly close down the bar, and the bar will still be full of like 8 other people, and the game just doesn't acknowledge it? I'm not really sure. It's a weird detail. On that topic, I wonder whether Ava can be sick or not, because that would really fuck with you, right? If Ava got sick, and then you had the entirety of the bachelor's household was now sick. So you had to pay, a medicine every single day to just have access to the bachelor that day because Ava gets sick. That'd be interesting. But yeah, the foreman's dead, or at least he's not there. So I think I'm 2 for 2 now on ending a campaign with both the bachelor and Artemy, where I try to visit the foreman, but I can't because bachelor couldn't get inside the abattoir, and the agent can't. Artemy can't talk to him because he killed him already. I thought that Anna Angel was dead based on what happened earlier when I sacrificed her or something, but when I got to her house, there was an executor outside of it, and when I talked to him, he said that the person inside here is sick. So maybe I sacrificed one of them to death, or maybe I just gave them the plague in order to escape, in which case maybe I can cure them. I'm not really sure. I haven't gone inside yet, so we'll get answers at that point. I need to get my total of how many people are sick first, and then figure out how to spend said resources. But yeah, it was a weird detail seeing that I thought she was dead, but the executor just says she's sick. It's not like Vlad, where they're like, this person's dead and it's your fault. No.
The grave diggers have scattered, or are they?
Capella and I owe you so much. I am only alive because of you, aren't I? Tell me, why does Capella need you? I will replace the second mistress. That means Capella thinks I'll manage to. She says I'm shining bright, but unlike hers, my glimmer isn't thick, but rather transparent and very pale. Will Capella be the first? Yes, I'll have to stand in contrast to her. She feels the living, and I feel the dead. She knows how to take care of the living, knows what they need. I can listen to the dead, and know how they turn into grass to face the sun, and why each twire blade is different, and there you go. Are these her words? You can't be making this up, can you? These are Capella's words. She explained all this to me, but I can also feel that it's true. What else did she tell you? Each of us will tug the power in our own direction. She'll tug a bit upwards, and I'll tug downwards. We'll tune life together, opposing each other, like Nina and Victoria before. But not for real. Moreover, I'll help her make the lines into a circle. At least that's my understanding. Makes sense? Does it, though? I'm curious what's gonna happen here. Oops, missed the door. Is Capella gonna be the mistress this time? Because when you beat the game as the Bachelor, Maria becomes the mistress. Is it always Maria, or is it based on which character you beat the campaign as? Like, well, like if Capella does become the mistress in the Haruspex campaign, does that mean that in Clara's campaign another mistress rises? I'm trying to think of who would that be. Would it be Aspity? I'm not totally sure. Yeah, Ava's still alive. There's our chance to talk to her and get new dialogue, potentially.
My path used to be called Goldilocks, but then I truly wanted to give my soul to the cathedral so that it'd have at least something immortal in it.
Wow. What? Do you reference Goldilocks like in the Three Bears? What? Anyway. Yeah, my great mystery of what's gonna happen if she's alive still. Turns out nothing. Just even on the last day, she still says the same thing as everybody. She did a settled campaign about this weird line about a visitor that every woman seems to have when they don't have dialogue in this game. Yeah, I've got a fair number of letters to go through here. Some of these stacked up a bit. Let's see. Yeah, that was Capella's invitation. These three stacked up when we transitioned over midnight. I actually didn't notice some of them stacking up at first. The Bachelor. Proof of Aglaya's deceit. Aglaya Lilich has made fools of us all. Both of us were pawns in her terrifying maneuver. That's the way it is. Ask her yourself. Block and I have her cornered. We have completely disarmed her. So she has no choice but to confess. My dear Burrock, she is your sacrifice. I didn't think it is at all necessary to slit her throat with your own knife. You see, if the town is destroyed, the head of Aglaya Lilich will be separated from her shoulders in less than a day. It has transpired that this whole situation affords her a stay of her death warrant. If she presents the town entirely purged of any disease to the powers that be, she is granted pardon. The issue is, it is impossible. The disease has soaked the town. It keeps rising up from the very roots of it. This isn't... That whole paragraph doesn't make sense to me. The part about how the town is infected, yes, that part's fine. I get it. He says that it has transpired, this whole situation affords her a stay of her death warrant. Yeah, Bachelor, we all already knew that. Everyone already knew that. Why is that being framed like it's news? I find that very strange. In addition to that, what was it? It says that if she presents the town as being purged of disease, then she's granted pardon. That itself also is inaccurate. It's if she is responsible for curing the town. If she, it's not a matter of her just showing that the town is cured. It's been specifically reiterated over and over again by multiple characters that if somebody else fixes the town and it's not her, then like that doesn't work for her and she still dies even though the town's saved. There's a few issues with that paragraph to me. It is doubly deplorable that when she deceived you, she didn't merely save her life, she pursued her own purpose too, which is to destroy the polyhedron. The disease can be destroyed only if we destroy the town. There is no other option. By your own reasoning. I cannot be wrong about it, can I? Please take this into consideration if you come to the cathedral. Bachelor Denkovsky. It's a little weird that her saving herself is seen as deplorable. On how your precious Aglaya Lilich lied to you. Your sacrifice is Aglaya Lilich. I don't know how exactly you're supposed to kill her, but there's little doubt that the offering is her. I am telling you this in my capacity as true mistress. Treat this as the first of my prophecies. This is the truth. The reason why Aglaya Lilich deceived you was that she wanted to save your own life. We knew that. Don't try to prevent the destruction of the town. By this, the prophecy will be fulfilled and the kin will accept you. Ask her yourself. I doubt she has what it takes to deny it. What the fuck? It doesn't say who sent this letter. It's not in the title. It's not at the beginning or the end. I'm guessing it's Maria? I don't know. It could be Maria, it could be Clara, it could be, it could be Capella, but she doesn't talk like that normally. So it's either Clara or Maria. Maria's the new mistress, but Clara's the matching pair, because Bachelor just mailed me, so you'd think that Clara would also be mailing me. I don't know. A letter from Aglaya Lilich, tomorrow's council. This is to remind you of the council tomorrow. Commander Block and I reached an agreement. He will hear out any reasonable suggestion of how the town may be saved. Owing to your efforts, we have a suggestion, don't we? After that, we will hear out the mistress. The young Ogimsky girl and Maria Kaina were invited. I guess Katerina will tag along. Are you in any way related to Capella? She says that she will lend her support to our cause. Is she alright? We won't be able to resolve the proceedings without the mistresses. They are the guarantee of the town's obedience. Those wielding emergency authority will leave soon enough, and the mistresses will remain. It isn't possible to keep the town in submission unless the population behaves quiet, as to not evoke the ever-present threat of death. Yes, Block doesn't know that we've met or exchanged letters. He also doesn't know of your friendship with Capella. This could be important. I put my trust in you. Yours, A. One issue, of those 3 mistresses, 2 of them are sick. Both Katerina and Maria are sick with the sand plague right now. I wonder if that can affect the outcome at all. Clara's letter. I know you were interested in pairs, oppositions, and other meaningful similarities, so let me remind you of something. The first pair should be read as follows. If the Urdur your father spoke of is the town, then the polyhedron is your sacrifice. There is no other way, since the two are correspondent to each other. Crush the polyhedron. The rivers of blood will flow. The underground ichor emerging from within the hollow road on which the tower stood. The second pair remains. If Aglaya is your sacrifice, then Simon is your Urdur. In this case, you have no other choice but to protect the polyhedron. Oh, great. And I love how there's literally no way to actually figure out which of these is the case, is there? Like, literally, and they straight up boil down to, you absolutely must destroy the polyhedron or you must absolutely protect the polyhedron. They're mutually exclusive, and I don't think I have actually any evidence towards it. Because this whole Urdura thing is so bizarre and of lacking in concrete definition. I am staying in the left wing of the termitary. Come and see me if you please. My plan is the only one that is feasible. Nothing will have to die. You keep saying that, but you never say what your plan is, which is really frustrating. But also, you said that these are the 2 things I should do, and then you say to follow your plan, which is neither of those things. The Bachelor's letter. This is to remind you of how the Inquisitor has deceived you in regard to the Udur, which is none other than Simon Kane, the last patient your father ever had. I am well prepared to explain the situation to Block, although as of now I have no such possibility because of the mutiny. The logic behind the whole affair is quite straightforward. If we destroy the town, the Inquisitor dies. If the Inquisitor dies, the polyhedron will be saved. Every fiber of this woman's being is dedicated to one purpose, eliminating the polyhedron. She would not hesitate to die, if this would lead to the destruction of the tower. No one can vouch for its safety while she is alive. If the polyhedron remains attacked, Simon's existence will likewise be protected, and the supreme creature your father spoke of will be formed. You will fulfill your father's dying request, and in doing so, resolve the situation. I hope you may see my logic makes sense, even if my presentation is muddled. Daniel Dunkovsky. P.S. Please find an opportunity to see me if you require further proof of my correctness. Well, let's have at it, right now. Also, steal the exhaustion a little bit, because I don't like having meters on my screen. It's the final day. And I have infinite solutions for these meters. There we go. So here's the bad news, everybody. I have 4 panaceas. I have 1 schmouter. My nut plan never came to fruition. I have 6 of those, 9 of those, 2 of those. Like, that should have been enough for a schmouter, I believe. I never saw a little girl with a schmouter the entire goddamn game. So I just have the 1 in my inventory.
Yes.
And I'll double check my base to see if I'm forgetting a blood sample or something, but like, I have 4 panaceas. I think I had more as the bachelor, and I'm the guy who makes panaceas. Here's the problem, that's 5 cures. Arguably 4 and a bad thing, but 5 cures basically. Here's the list of sick people. Maria, Victor,
Sorry,
Georgie.
but I have to get back to work.
Yeah, that's right. All 3 of the Canes that live in the Crucible, they're all sick. Yeah. They're the last people I checked on when I was checking everyone. I was really happy. Like, oh my god, almost nobody's sick. This is great. Boom,
What
3
is there
back to
to talk
back.
about now?
Everybody in the Crucible's sick. Grief, Katerina, and Anna. So Maria, Victor, Georgie, Grief, Katerina, Anna. 3 bachelor people, 3 changeling people. Not great, is it? Gonna have to make up my mind of who gets doomed to die.
Truth does not do as much good in the world as the appearance of truth does evil.
Above all else, I'm currently leaning towards the idea of letting Katerina die, because Katerina's already dying, supposedly. She's literally called Katerina the Dying, according to the Capella. And due to the fact that Capella doesn't tell me her strategy, I don't think I'm going to use her ending. Capella always refuses to say anything, so I think that I'm not going to go with her thing. But let's see. They're called Katerina the Deceived here. I think she's called Katerina the Dying elsewhere, though. I think. But she's supposed to be on her way out. Her powers are fading and she's going out. Most of the other characters are a bit younger. I have to save all 3 of the Canes if I want to use the Bachelor's ending. If they're right about the whole Udro thing, I actually might end up doing the Bachelor ending as the Haruspex. The symmetry is kind of interesting, right? If I did the Bachelor one as the Haruspex and the Haruspex one as the Bachelor, it implies that both of them saw the error of their ways or in some way, or they changed their mind, which is an interesting thing because in particular when he plays the Haruspex, it seems like the Haruspex and the Bachelor have a particular bond and working relationship, and they grow close to each other. I did not get that impression when I played as the Bachelor. I saw the Haruspex a few times. He was in different locations. I saved him once. But as the Haruspex, you work with the Bachelor like every day. He's the most prominent character in your campaign, which is a really weird feel.
I'm tired. I've had enough.
So, have you made your decision? About what? It's high time we make choices. As for me, before the artillery starts firing, I'm packing my belongings, leaving this town, having grabbed some people I want to save. I could have found my own solution, but I don't have the time. Why can't we evacuate the town? We should really just evacuate the town, then blow it up. And then we can quarantine people accordingly in different camps, based on which ones are sick and which ones aren't. And then the people who are safe could move on, and the people who aren't safe could, we can figure out whether or not we can whether or not we can treat with them or not. What bothers me most about the idea of destroying the town is the idea that it's not really explained that we're going to evacuate, which seems like a problem. What would your solution be? I could make them destroy the settlement along with the Bull project, yet the Polyhedron would remain. Block assured me he'd fire a strike so precise that the other shore of the Gokron won't be scathed. The river will swallow the plate, he said. The people will die if we destroy the town. Oh, look around. There's no one left alive except the 2 of us. The infected ones don't count. They have less than 24 hours to live in any case. I could at least help them. Really? Then could you please make it so that I could show up at the council and present the commander with arguments in favor of the following arrangement? The corrupt town disappears from the face of the earth and the polyhedron stays. It's aseptic and... damn it, it's simply worth preserving. What you need to do, so... Also, why can't we blow up the abattoir and nothing else? Why can't we say, hey, the abattoir is where the plague is, shoot that? Why do we have to shoot the town as a whole? What do you need to do so? Not a lot, but not a little either. I'll come to the cathedral on the condition that I'm certain of the survival of the people to whom I'm about to devote my time. Are you willing to help me there? I'll try to do something. How can I recognize your confidants? I wrote you about them the other day, but in case you lost that letter, I'll tell you how to spot them. They all want one thing, and that's to preserve the marvelous tower. Nothing else matters to them. Wait for me. Not great. Only the Bachelor will be able to convince the chess queens that the utopian solution is the right choice. Before he attends the final council in the cathedral, he will have to make sure that his bound are alive. They are Georgie, Victor, Maria, as well as Peter and Andre Stomaton. That's weird, right? Ava's not on that list. Ava and Vlad Jr. are not on that list. Weird. His letter he sent me that has his list had Ava and Vlad Jr. on it, and now it doesn't. Now it's literally just those three people and the construction people. He only has 5 people that he considers his bound. It's a super short list. And perhaps even weirder is the fact that he did such a bad job helping them. He has, by his own word, he has the shortest list of the entire game, and he did not take care of them at all. 3 of them are sick. You guys, my soul kind of hurts. I actually went online and I was trying to look up the word Urdur in Pathologic and just trying to get context of any kind. Not trying to hunt for spoilers or answers that necessarily what the right call is, but just like trying to understand what my decision even is. And I've been just bashing my head against this game trying to understand what I'm doing in it. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like, yeah, it's like kind of an issue for me right now is I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like I'm so far in to not know what I'm doing still. So I was reading the letters from the past and so on, and also there's websites that list all of them, so I was like control-Fing through that, some of it too, and also paging through some of the ones in game. And I'm just trying to find a definite answer of what Urdur means. And no, I'm getting nothing. At best, I vaguely get the sense that it means what I kind of thought it already means, which is just destiny, goal, the thing that the Haruspex wants. Like it's, and I don't know if it's made up for the game or if it's Russian. I don't really know. I guess I can Google that. Although I don't know if, let's see. Translating Urdu from Russian to English doesn't bring anything up, but also, like, that's not how Russian's written, so I can't really necessarily do it right. If I translate it, it autocorrects to you. Do you want to translate that from Irish? Which just leads to the spitting out Urdu anyway, so it's like it doesn't actually give me an answer, even if I do translate from Irish, which would likely be the wrong translation anyway. But yeah, like, I don't know, I can't grasp at what the word means in any, I can't find any source that expands upon its meaning. It's just been used constantly. Like, my father supposedly mentioned the word somewhere, and so I'm trying to find it and define it, and everybody around me will constantly just say what the Urdur might be, but it's usually a self-serving definition that it's like, oh, look, the Urdur thing you want is conveniently the thing that I want too, haha. That must mean that the sacrifice for the Urdur must be the thing I don't want, haha. It's like, I just want to sit down with the Haruspex and talk to him and be like, tell me what the words mean that we keep using. Like, I'm losing my mind a little bit here, trying to figure this out. I'm going back and forth on whether or not I want to use the bachelor's ending or not, because it's being presented that it's maybe an equal chance that the Urdur might be it might be the town, or it might be the polyhedron. I mean, no, it might be the town, or it might be Georgi. I mean, sorry, Simon. But it's just I can't. I'm not making headway here, and it's driving me a little crazy. I don't think I've ever played a game where I'm more consistently confounded by the ending choice. Really, ever. It's weird. Yeah, but here's I guess my objective app updated at some point, probably today. Is any choice right, as long as it's willed? The lines did cross. The two opposite truths formed a line with a single surface. My victory will be flawed, regardless of the choice I make. But how can they possibly manipulate me, a warden? What do I, the Haruspex, have to care about their petty affairs? The warden will make the choice suggested by his conscience, and what happens next is of no great importance. They may say I am predictable, but no one would ever say I am easily controlled. If I will sacrifice my offering, that doleful woman I have summoned, then I will become one with the kin. I will take the burden of their suffering on my shoulders and provide for them. But if I keep the word I gave my father and allow the offering to live, then this will mean I have strayed away from the path I was chosen to follow. Not only will I reject the destiny meant for me, but also for the rest of my kin. It is time to choose. This is frustrating, because even in this explanation, he uses the most obtuse terminology and avoids using anyone's names or talking about anything in specific terms. Like, everything about this game seems designed to be open to interpretation and require extensive, like, filling in the gaps with your own stuff that isn't necessarily even true, but just what you tell yourself they mean half the time. I don't know. If I sacrifice my offering, the doleful woman I have summoned, then I will become one with the kin. The only woman that could be my sacrifice would be the Inquisitor, right? The way that she dies if her mission fails, so she dies if the town is destroyed, and she lives if the polyhedron's destroyed and the town is presented as being cured, right? Or shit, because the Haruspex ending is to destroy. His plan, when he's playing his other characters, is to destroy the polyhedron and use that to cure everybody in the town. So if you destroyed the polyhedron, then she gets what she wants, but you save the town. So, yeah, the Haruspex and the Inquisitor's goals are the two that are aligned by the end of the campaign. But they say that there's a split here. If the Inquisitor lives, then I'm keeping a promise to my father, but I will be rejecting my destiny. But if I destroy the town, and as a result the Inquisitor dies, then I become one with the kin. I take on their burden and I provide for them. So I essentially have to choose between my people and my father. My people being separate from the people of this town. This is such a web. It's a web that I'm uncertain of. I wish that there was more kin that were characters. Like, if the Haruspex identifies so closely with the kin, then I can see myself saving the kin for the Haruspex's, for his sake. But there are no kin characters, really. It's just... I almost said no kin, almost like not kin. It's basically just Aspity and the foreman who's dead. All the other kin are just nameless, faceless characters running around with identical character models Whereas the townsfolk is this huge cast of like 30 characters or whatever, something like that. It's a lot. It's interesting to see that choosing the bachelor's choice, where you save the polyhedron and destroy the town, therefore destroying the Inquisitor, that makes you one with the kin? Like, I can see myself doing it for that reason, but honestly, to some extent, I'm mostly I might be somewhat motivated by the idea of just doing the Bachelor ending because I did the Haruspex ending in the Bachelor campaign, and I wish it wasn't that petty, but that's probably the strongest motivation I have to pick one ending or another, is just to do a different ending to see it, because the explanations are so not. I'm just so uncertain of what a lot of it even definitely means or not. I don't know. We're also talking about the promise. We're also talking about the promise of my father, who I've never met in this game because he was dead before I got here, or the existence of Simon Kane in the Polyhedron, another character who was dead before I got here. But like, there seems to be something. This seems to be like something legit about the Polyhedron because of this thing I'm seeing here, which the Bachelor never saw. I don't know. I might just stick it out to see something different, I guess. So let's just fix these guys. Who do I want to give? Nah, I think I'm gonna cure everybody here, and at the other group, I think I'm gonna cure Anna, give Grief the crippling medicine, and leave Katarina to die. Weakening the criminal element seems not like the worst idea. Frankly, if he's so fucking resourceful, he should have had a better cure available for him. So that's Victor cured. Yeah, Grief's supposed to be this big resourceful character with all these connections and whatnot, and he overcharges people, and he takes part in violence in the criminal underbelly and so on. So if he's gonna live with the shitty fix. He's going to get the Schmauder, which he should have already had, frankly. If he has the connections he's supposed to have, he should already have a Schmauder on hand. So that's them all cured. I'm really weirded out by the fact that Maria is sick. Just because she's supposed to be the super mistress and everything, and it's like she's like, what, the white mistress? Like, that's the super omega ultra one? Like, but she still falls victim to the sand plague. It's like, her being incapacitated during the ending, like, does that change the ending? Does she just not there, perhaps? That it just has more implications that I have questions for that I don't think the game is interested in answering. And it's what I really want answers for. It's totally the type of stuff I want them to talk about. Guess we'll go right back to the Bachelor because I've already fulfilled his goal. Now I'll walk all the way to Clara just to talk to her, but I won't be able to fulfill it. Like, she's not going to be there for the ending.
Should I just give up?
Time's almost up. You're bound or alive and well. Come to the council. Fine, I will. If you tell Block yourself that you're on my side, the Inquisitor will be disarmed. See you at the cathedral, Oinen. He says the Inquisitor will be disarmed if I say that I'm on the Bachelor's side. But if I'm on the Bachelor's side and I destroy the town and preserve the Polyhedron, right? Because she wants the Polyhedron destroyed, so she'll be dead. Why am I looting things? Oh boy. I need to get to... Anna's up there. Clara's up there. Grief's... Yeah. Gotta make a southern trip to get to Grief. One Panacea, one Schmauder. I did worse. Ah. That feels weird to me. Like, I've played some survival games like, stuff like Darkwood, or This War of Mine, or Frostpunk, and stuff like that on this channel. And to a certain amount, the better you get at micromanaging and so on, and mastering the game's mechanics, you would kind of think that that would translate directly into you getting better results in, you know, in the ending, like who lives, who dies, or how you fared overall. But at the end of the game, it doesn't matter how many resources you have, or how well you've done, or how uninfected you are, and what your stockpiles are like. All that matters is how many panaceas and schmatters you have, as far as like who gets cured. That's the primary quota at the end. The primary gauge of how well you played the game is probably whether or not you were able to do the daily mandatory main quests. Because if you fail to finish a main quest, one of your people goes sick. So obviously that comes into play. But I can't help but feel like it's weird that I did so much better this time than last time, mechanically, as far as I can tell, like by a mile, and yet I'm actually coming up short in the ending results, and that I can't save everyone when I did last time, and last time I was flailing. It just feels weird. Like that's not how it's supposed to go. I have a box with the children's schmauder. It could help. This will cripple them for the rest of their life. It will burn all their insides along with the plague. Are you sure you want to save them from the disease at this cost? Yes, give it to them. Like I said, they're all in here. This place is full of people when grief's the one that's sick. It's a really weird look. Alright, let's learn what this mystery is. What's your deal, Anna? Fix her up. So you're just alive now?
If there's enough people like me, the town will stay the same. We'll surrender ourselves to Clara unregretted. A rotten life belongs to the new mistress.
Thank you. I need to live a little longer. There's one more thing that has to be done. My death will not be purposeless now. There is no death. True. She's not gonna die. Because I'm not gonna go with Clara's plan. And also I've cured her. I'm really confused about so many things. But definitely on that list is this whole thing where I maybe sacrificed her, but I'm not really sure. Because I think that seemed to be told to me that by Clara that I was sacrificing someone, but it wasn't in the most concrete terms, and then I talked to her, and then she kind of became the sacrifice somewhat without me even being fully aware of it or not. And then I ran out and went off and faced the foreman and moved on, but then when I came back she was sick, and I cannot tell you whether she was sick already or not, so I can't tell if that was actually what it was. Like, did I doom her with that choice, or did I just make her sick? And now that I've fixed her, is that now over and it's good now? Or is she doomed for other reasons because of me choosing her, and even though I've fixed her, she's gonna be dead now later because of what I did or something? I don't know. I kind of thought that I was gonna get back here and she was just gonna be dead, like Vlad. But then Vlad wasn't dead, because I went up to... that was one of the really definite, like, this person dies, right? Moments. But then I went to visit Taya Taichik, and Vlad was just hanging out there, and I could talk to him. And I'm like, I just want to know what my decisions do in this game. Like, I don't think that's... hey, nice of you to just wait down here instead of up there. I don't think I'm being stubborn or unreasonable here. I just want to know what my decisions mean in a video game that's largely about those kinds of moves. And, like, I can't help but feel that, like... The game freeze? No. Wow, you just stand so motionless that the game genuinely looks like it froze. That's really creepy. I was looking at the screen and I was like, did it stop moving entirely? I gave the game my patience for a while, which is like accepting that I won't know what a lot of things mean, because that's just like its reputation. But I thought that it would start to make sense, and a lot of it has definitely started to make sense, but a lot of it stayed not making sense. And I just keep not knowing what I'm necessarily doing with some of these calls. It's a weird feeling.
However astute, you are unable to fathom the extent of the evil you're doing.
See how everything turns out? Who could have thought? You have to sacrifice something, either the town or the polyhedron. One of the queens wants to destroy the wondrous tower, while the other seeks to raise as much as possible just to make sure. Do you have a different solution? I could arrange it so that everything stays the way it used to, if I could get into the cathedral and look the Inquisitor in the eye. But I can't. I have to care for my confidence. They have put their faith in me already, you see. I cannot abandon them now. I'll do my best to help you. Do you recognize your bound? All of them are listed in the letter I sent to you several days ago, and they're easily recognizable. The persecuted, the outcasts, the villains, the criminals, those who only shelter is me, the new mistress. Wait for me, I'll take care of your outcasts. No, I won't. 'Cause I can't. Sorry. With how many panaceas I'm able to accrue single-handedly in my campaign, definitely find myself feeling like, why can't the Haruspex and the Changeling care for their own people? Not only did none of my people ever become sick, but I was able to cure almost everybody in the entire town. I can't help but feel like all the other people are rather ineffectual, even though they're the other protagonists. It's one thing that I'm the other person, I'm the one who gets to make the final decision, which itself is interesting, but it's because I guess I did the main campaign, so I've done the equivalent of the tabletop game, where I've gathered the maximum level of evidence, and so I'm the authority on what should be done. And they can only be brought in by council if certain conditions are met. But the fact that they seem to not be able to take care of or cure their Unbound makes them seem really ineffectual in other ways, which I guess explains why they weren't able to succeed at their original goal, I suppose.